Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to put it's basically like homemade stain using steel wool and white vinegar in a mason jar. Pretty much I think it's called iron acetate is what you're going to make. So I made 12 jars and I started, the oldest one is at 160 hours ago and the newest one was 2 hours ago. So pretty much I bought a pack of steel wool. It's the size 00. And I used one bundle for each jar to 2.5 cups of distilled white vinegar. So my wife and I, what we need to do right now is we need to strain the vinegar because it has particles of steel wool in it. We need to strain it through a coffee filter into a cup. And I've got each cup labeled at each hours that I made it and a sample block so that way we have an idea of if we want to put a darker color on the wood or if we want to put a lighter color on the wood, and at least we'll have some type of an idea. Okay, you ready? So we'll start at the 160 hours. That one. You want to hold it? You want to hold it or me pour it? Spilling it. Might take a while. I thought these coffee filters were really thin. Figured it'd drain a little bit faster than that. You could probably use cheesecloth or some type of cloth to filter out. These coffee filters are draining really slow. And 2.5 cups of vinegar is definitely probably plenty for our type of project. Alright, so what we figured out, coffee filters was just a little bit too thick and didn't want to strain fast enough through it. It'd take forever to strain all these 12 bottles or 12 jars. So we found a dryer sheet. We just kind of rinsed the soap off of it and it's working out much better. All right, back here we had a little bit of camera problems. So here's what we got. So it goes from 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, 48, 64, 96, and 160 hours. So basically, the longer they sit, the darker they will get. Now, all boards are different, you know, because of different type of grains and everything, but all these boards are pine. So not all boards are going to be exactly the same. Now we went ahead and I did 12 of them. So they're all still pretty light. This one right here it turned out pretty good. It's a nice dark gray color. And also I forgot to tell you guys, before I did this, I took a grinder with a wire wheel and I grinded the boards down and pretty much got like all the softwood off, and it kept some of the hardwood. So a lot of these just real texture, if you can tell. You know, they just look weather looking, so gives it some character and stuff. There's a darker piece that turned out pretty good. This right here is the 2 hour one. I know it might be a little bit hard to tell, but this is the 2 hour one, and it's a really, really light gray. I mean, it pretty much didn't really change a whole lot. So, and here's the other section. I just left this this section right here so we can just kind of walk through. There's a dark one, turned out pretty good, and got a few lighter color ones here. So total of 55 boards, and I got them all numbered, so I know exactly what order I need to put them on the wall. So, and another thing I noticed with the jars over here, most of the vinegar is out of the jars. But I noticed one thing, that the 64-hour one, I don't know if you noticed in the video earlier, but it was extremely hard to get off. It had a lot of pressure behind it. If you can tell, the 96 and the 160 hour, you can tell the caps have tried to almost come off the jar. But the 64 one was extremely hard. So, and I got to looking, the 64 one, the steel wool is almost just about gone, just as compared to the 160 hour jar. And obviously these are less hours, all the way down to 2 hours, and then steel wool is there's most of it's probably still in there. So it just kind of makes me wonder that if the 64-hour one was extremely hard to get off because it was sealed and there's hardly no steel wool in there, I think that might be the best color one, a dark bold color. So, and all these caps I screwed on pretty tight, so I don't know, I guess the 64-hour one just really sealed really good and pretty much dissolved all the steel wool. So I think that's one of my darker colors out there. The 96-hour one, you can tell it's still got a pretty good sized ball in there, but even though it swelled up quite a bit, so I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But so I'll put you back on the tripod. I'm gonna stir. They've been sitting for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and stir these up, and I'm gonna go ahead and do 12 more, and that'll get me about halfway. Then I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna pour a little bit of the residual of the jars back into the cups. Just try to make this stuff a little bit darker. stuff on, you really got to put it on pretty good, pretty heavy. I'm using a foam brush for these because I know I'll be throwing away the brush. Welcome back to the channel. Different day here. I just want to give you an update on the accent wall. Sorry for a little bit of not recording the progress, but here's pretty much the finished product.
the only thing I have to do is pretty much finish tacking in these finished nails here. I'll get my little nail punch and I can finish putting those in. I didn't want to nail them all the way just in case if I needed to take the boards off. So I'll use my nail punch so I don't make a hammer mark on the board. So and like I said, I had these boards already pre-cut. I put them up there and then I took them back off, and then that's when I started stripping the wood off with the wire brush, and then I created that stain with the steel wool and distilled white vinegar. So I think it turned out pretty good though, for the most part. It looks maybe a little bit different from the floor, but I didn't want to match the floor perfectly. So, but that's pretty much about it. And also, I had the boards numbered. So like this one over here in the corner, this was number 1, and then number 2. I took a black Sharpie and put the number on the back of the board, so I knew exactly where they would be going. So, but anyways, if you like these type of videos, make sure you subscribe and comment, ask any questions you have, and I'll get back with you. And hit that like button, and also that the bell icon. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.